And this is Coach Toyin speaking. Lately, I've been teaching on spirituality and entrepreneurship in my academy. I've been talking a lot about the source of ideas and creativity and productivity, the mind, tons of mindset programs, right? So today I'm just diving deeper into this topic. Like this year, it's all about advanced energetics. Because at the end of the day, we can talk about business growth all we want. We can talk about strategies, marketing. And by the way, my 10-week accelerator covers the strategies and systems you need to build world class businesses. But here's the deal, most people, right, may not realize that if you don't cultivate your ideas, right, businesses come from the place of ideas. The seed of success comes from ideas. And when you dismiss ideas, when you don't prioritize doing the work, when you fail to show up for your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, I always like to say you're your own hero. You're here to rescue your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. If you do none of those things, you're not going to manifest, you're not going to create, you're not going to produce all of the things that belongs to you. Okay, so that's why I'm continuing to dive deeper into this space, because there's no creativity without spirituality. The source of your ideas are deeply spiritual. So today I'm building on the foundation already. Tons of resources, over 300 resources at toyinumesiri.academy. Go check that out. You will not be disappointed for sure. And what I have is a new resource I just released, and it does have a diagram that I'm going to explain, but you can download a copy. Okay, you can download a copy in my academy. And basically, it's talking about how to expand consciousness. Okay, so what I did here, and yeah, let me know where you're joining from. For those who join, if you're team replay, thank you for joining. Do share, like, subscribe. And if this is your first time ever, you're welcome. And those who already know, how we roll here, do let me know where you're joining from, and let's engage as well. Okay, so the connection between spirituality, right, and entrepreneurship. So the spiritual versus the physical, right? The physical is what we see, right? Everything that we see, touch, everything that is produced, like everything we're experiencing through the physical world, right? Particularly when it's man-made. When it's man-made, it originated, right, from somebody's mind. It started in somebody's mind, right, as an idea, right? So one thing I put on the screen on the diagram is that the spiritual is where we imagine, the mind is where we visualize, and the physical is where we manifest. And in the spiritual, that's where ideas come in as seeds. That's where the seeds of ideas, possibility, they hold a lot of potential. But if you do nothing with your ideas, they remain as seed. It's like a seed in your house, right? If you don't plant it, if you don't water it, if you don't nourish it, if you do nothing with your ideas, you get nothing. They remain as a seed. And the mind is where you plant your ideas with belief and desire. So this is what I created. I use it to teach in my school. Okay. So this is exclusive, right? Fresh from Toyin Umesiri, right? Never before seen. Anyway, so the mind is where I believe the planting, the rooting starts. Okay. And the way you receive ideas and own it as yours, and I've shared this before. So those in my academy already, I'm building on for them. They're not new to this topic. Okay. Is that the planting of your idea comes from a place of believing that it's yours, right? It's a place of ownership. The ideas may be floating, and I call it the offer. It's an offer of what's possible for you. It's a reflection of your future. It's like this future is possible for you. This business is possible for you. It shows you what is actually, what actually can be yours, excuse me, if you follow the entire process. Okay, so again, the idea is a seed. It's presented to you as an idea, as a seed, as an opportunity. Excuse me, how you plant it, How you plant the idea is through belief and desire. Because there are times when you know you can do it, but you don't want it. So you dismiss it, you say it's not, it's you saying you don't want it. It's an offer, and then you say you don't want it or you're not ready for it. That's why a lot of the mindset challenges people have with limited belief, it's literally you're saying this idea, you don't believe it's possible for you, and you're not ready to do the work. And so you're throwing it away and saying, you know what? No. Many people may not realize is that only the ideas that you receive as yours and you desire, they are the ones that have the potential to be manifested. But as long as you say there's a reason why you don't want to own it, you don't want to take responsibility for doing the work for that idea, you don't want to create it, you don't want to focus, you don't want to commit, you don't want to do any of the work, you don't want to work for it. As long as you continue to say, I don't want, the idea would not, be planted. It's like you're refusing to allow it to grow. Because ideas has to grow just like a seed. It starts as an idea, but then with belief, with desire, with the work you're going to do, with research, right? Part of research is you trying to figure out how you're going to create it, how you're going to manifest it, right? And so when you do not believe and when you do not desire, all of those ideas remain dormant. Okay? And then part of when you think about in the physical is that your words and your action must match. So when your words and action do not match, that's another problem. It will manifest. Okay, so I break it down to imagination, visualization, manifestation. Manifestation happens in the physical, but it doesn't just show up, it's all of the things you have to do before you see it. Visualization is you, right? Thinking about it, wanting it so much, right? And believing that you can do what is required, that you can become everything that that idea is presenting and offering to you. Okay, so that's the eye level. And so I'll just share briefly, I'll read maybe a few lines from the resource that accompanies that diagram. So what I just try to do now is to explain what's in that diagram. Okay, so I said with limited consciousness, right, you will achieve little. With increased consciousness, you will achieve more. And what is consciousness at the end of the day? It's about awareness, perception, right? Consciousness is finds its seat in the mind. How much you know determines how conscious you are. Because the more knowledge about spiritual, physical, all of these things, the more knowledge you open your mind towards, the more conscious you are. And the more conscious you are, the more you can do, the more aware you are, the more your perception is sharpened, the more your decision making process is improved, right? That's why a child, a baby, the consciousness of a newborn baby versus the consciousness of a 50-year-old, it's not the same. Is that as we move through the world, we are designed to take in data. And I shared this in the Abundant Life series, right? We are here to experience the world. We experience the world through our mind. And then the world experiences us through our actions, words, right? Through what we do. So when I teach, I talk about skills, strategy, right? Marketing, sales, right? That's the physical manifestation of you building a business. But before you ever commit that the business is yours, that the idea behind the business is yours, this is the foundational stuff that most people are not doing. And if you don't do this work, if you don't know how to reach into the spiritual to claim all your ideas, yes, many ideas are going unclaimed. They are sitting on the shelf. You've got to go in, claim your ideas, desire it, believe it, commit to it, and then you show up. And that's where that academy comes in. And so that's why for me, yes, there are classes. The 10-week accelerator covers a lot of the physical things we have to do to build a business, marketing, sales, branding, all of those things. I also support it with mindset programs, how you think will reflect on your business. But this next level is going deeper into realizing that the mind, right, will only do the work that you believe needs to be done and that you commit to do. So even the mind is secondary. right? Even though like tons, because once you decide you want to build a business, my mindset program kicks off, and then the skill set, strategy, systems for building a world-class business kicks off. But what's also happening is before you actually even work on the mind, there's this another right layer there. All your ideas, hopes, and dreams. What are you doing with them? Because if you don't see them, if you don't consider them as extremely precious to you, people are dismissing their ideas because it looks small, for whatever reason. I don't know. There could be, I mean, everybody has a reason, right? Is that your ideas hold the seed of your future. Your future doesn't just show up, you create it. It's like if you have a desire to become a doctor and you refuse to read the book, learn what it takes, listen, you will not have the consciousness that is required to function as a medical doctor. So consciousness can be expanded. Consciousness, what you know, what you are aware of, right? Intuition, perception, decision making, right? Consciousness, how you are existing in the world, what you know about your world, about the world out there, the physical world, the spiritual world, your perception of the world, perception of yourself, what you think about yourself, what you think about the world, what you think about everybody. That's your consciousness. Okay? When you know more, when you invest in expanding your knowledge base, it will influence your consciousness level, because with more consciousness, when you know more about how the physical world works and how the spiritual world works and how you work, you are on the journey to unleashing incredible success for yourself. So many people don't know themselves. They don't know how their own mind works, so they are not even in control. They don't know enough about the world. They make a lot of assumptions. They don't know enough about the spiritual side of themselves. So consciousness is limited based on lack of knowledge. Because the more knowledge, the more conscious you are. This is the growth, right? So growth is not just physical, growing from baby, toddler, infant, right? Preteen, teen, right? Adulthood, right? Physically, we're growing. But consciousness, you are responsible for growing your own consciousness. And most people, that is mainly rooted, say, for example, in the traditional education system. If all you know is what you were taught in school, first degree, secondary, then that's the level of consciousness that you've been enlightened in a dimension. So you know accounting because you opened your mind to acquire the knowledge of accounting. Somebody that didn't invest time in knowing accounting doesn't know jack about accounting. Right? You say debit, credit, they're like, what is that? Because they don't have consciousness in that domain. So if all you know is rooted in, I went to school to study accounting, I went to school to study this, that's okay. But your consciousness, your understanding of the world is based on the knowledge you acquired in that dimension. But you can expand knowledge. This is why you're supposed to be pursuing more knowledge in any area you want to expand and achieve success in. This is part of the gap. Because trust me, if somebody tells you nuclear physics now, listen, you don't know nothing. If you haven't studied that domain, you can't operate. You're not aware of what you're looking. They can show you something, you're like, what is that? You ask questions. You will have more questions than answer in the places you haven't studied, exposed your mind to acquire knowledge in. Right? You'll be ignorant in that space. Listen, debit, credit, what is that? Plus, minus, what is? You have a lot of questions. If a doctor comes in or a surgeon comes in, somebody that has a lot of understanding, awareness about the human anatomy, and they're like the heart, the arteries, the this, listen, that person will be like a genius, an expert. And every one of us will go, wow. Listen, your wonder is tied to the knowledge you acquire. So let me keep going. So with limited consciousness in any space, you will be able to do little in that space. With increased consciousness and awareness and knowledge and intuition, on and on, when you become a master, you master a space, you will achieve more in that space. Your mind is the birthplace of your consciousness. And you can expand your mind. You can expand what you know. You can read more books. You can take more classes. You can learn. You can train yourself. As humans, listen, we are blessed with the ability to expand consciously, to know more. But here's the key. Nobody wants to do it because it requires you to focus, commit, steady yourself, right? To think. You have to think. And the whole world now is being conditioned not to think. So when you don't think, you can't solve problems. Okay, you are only as awakened. I'll not share too much today. It's available at toyinyumesiri.academy. So I'll just probably stop on this first page. Your mind, okay, I said your mind is the birthplace of consciousness. You are only as awakened as what you know. I'm going to stop there today. You are only as awakened. There are places where people are asleep, right? If you don't know anything about that topic, you're asleep. Like, it's like sleep. You don't know. And like, when you don't know, you're in the dark. You're always in the dark about what you do not know. Yeah. And if you want to, let's say you want to, let's say you want to build a fashion business and you step into it and you know nothing, you are in the dark. So knowledge is about consciousness, and knowledge acquisition is about enlightening yourself, lighting up your mind, illuminating your mind with information, knowledge that is needed to build capacity to do work. So to enlighten yourself, it's your responsibility. It's nobody's responsibility. In fact, this is the ultimate investment. This is the main investment people are failing at, and it's the most important one. To shine light on your own mind so that your mind can know more to do more. When you enlighten yourself, consciousness expands. You become a different person. Because when you know more, listen, you become unstoppable. Right? When you become an expert in a domain, you're an expert. An expert is an expert. You attain mastery level. Listen, people will regard you. That's when you start being respected in that field as an expert. But when you've not attained mastery level, then you are a novice. That's why we have in my academy, we have a questionnaire, skill assessment. Assess yourself. Don't say you're a master if you don't have the skill of mastery. Marketing, sales, right? Somebody that has done it for 30 years, somebody that has invested on 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours to learn it, and somebody that has only done 50 hours. Listen, don't claim to be a master if you are not a master in any topic. Because the best result, success belongs to the masters. Success belongs to the masters in each domain. So expanding your consciousness will help you know more so that you can do more and create everything you're here to create. And back to that drawing, go access it at toyinyumesiri.academy. Join the professional or premium. I recommend the premium because that's where the 10-week accelerator is. But join the professional or premium access to start doing this work. The A to Z of entrepreneurship, supported by mindset programs, and now also expanding the connection between spirituality and entrepreneurship, right? Because entrepreneurship is the fruit of things people cannot see in your mind. It's the fruit of desire. Entrepreneurship is the fruit of your desire. Because if you don't want it, listen, it's if you don't want it, you don't believe it's yours, you don't do the work, you don't talk about it, you don't show up for it, then it's there, it's sitting on the shelf as an idea for you. That's how this works, and that's why I'm calling this out. Because many people, when I talk about in the diagram, I talk about imagination. Many people listen, they're in the imagination world, but you've got to visualize and manifest. But many people are stuck with Oh, I know. Oh, for 5 years, they are carrying ideas and they are hoping. I think most people hope that they won't have to do the work for it. And in a way, you delay your own manifestation when you don't believe, when you don't desire it enough to do the work required to create it in the world. Nothing happens. And I've shared before, where do ideas come from? As a Christian, listen, ideas, when you pray, what you will get. If you say you're hungry, ingredients is what you will get. And if you don't cook your own soup and you keep saying hunger, 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 and God is looking at you like, I've given you all the recipes, I've given you the ingredients, you cook your own food now. And that's what's happening in the world. When I talk about wealth creation, don't go hungry because you're outsourcing this work. Don't outsource your way. There's no connection between outsourcing this responsibility to success. It doesn't connect, right? So I'm going to stop there. I'm keeping today's session, right, compacted. So head over to toyinumesiri.academy to access more resources. Listen, this thing is life-changing. You're transforming your life so that you can unleash maximum success for yourself. Okay? Gift yourself, gift your future. The package, right, at toyinumesiri.academy. Bye.